Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. In today's video I'm taking a look at the TW-M08 Wavebreak. This is Toyworld's interpretation of Masterpiece inspired Seaspray. Now I really liked the Cosmos they did, the Space Racer, albeit the colours were slightly off. We had gold instead of the green. And much like him, we get a nice little display piece packaged up in its own individual box. I think people are going to be selling these on their own. I, for one, like these. I think they're a nice little idea, and they make very nice, solid backdrops. Right, let's take a look at Wavebreak's box. It's pretty much like what we got with Cosmos. If you are collecting these packaging, they do all fit together and they will make a large scene, which I think is a nice touch. I personally don't collect the boxes, I generally chuck them. So that's kind of a nice incentive to keep hold of your packaging. Spinning it around, we've just got your basic warnings on the back there and how to contact Toyworld by going to toyworld.jp. This is made in China, not suitable for people under the age of 15 because there are choking hazards. Without further ado, let's crack this open. And here we have the little hovercraft dude out of his packaging. Yeah, it's a nice solid feel. It's got a good mix of die cast and plastic. Really nice translucent plastic used on those window sections there. We've got die cast on the propellers. It's a good little solid piece. It's actually a lot bigger than what I thought it was going to be. Obviously it's a mini bots, and we have just had the announcement that Takara do intend to do all of the mini bots. So whether you're buying this as a stand-in or whether this is going to be your Seaspray for your collection, yes, Takara will probably be doing most of the figures now, but it's still not to say that Takara will do them as well as the third parties. And with the likes of Sunstreaker, for example, he's coming out as pretty much a Voyager scale car, and Sideswipe and people like that, he's about an extra like $50 or like £40–50 on top of what we paid for the likes of the previous car bots. So yes, Takara are giving us what we want. But at the same time, they're certainly charging us for it. Now, for the collectors out there, Wavebreak does come with a collector's card with his stats on the back. He comes with a sticker and a set of instructions. Now, unlike Cosmos, he doesn't come with any form of display stand. I did like that about Cosmos, that he kind of came with that lifting up stand. Okay, yes, he's a UFO, so he's meant to be flying, but it's nice to kind of get this guy just off the ground, just a fraction. You know, he is, of course, a hovercraft. As for detailing, we've got these two sections here, which are quite clearly a gun. They're trying to kind of incorporate them in there as kind of the buoyancy sections around the side. And it does work. It does work, I think. It's a very convincing mode, and I'm still very impressed by the use of die cast on this. The paint applications seem to be thorough and even throughout. Sometimes you'll get iffish applications where they go from plastic to die cast. I mean, you can see it a little bit around these propeller sections at the top here. They've painted this section here. This section here is cast in this colour, and then these here have been painted up. So it is a slightly different tone, and again with the white there, looks like this section here is maybe a slightly darker tone to this, but all in all it's pretty convincing and it's not bad. Now, I pre-ordered this from TF Direct when it first came up, and I then saw what Fans Toys were offering, and I don't like it. I don't like the Fans Toys offering. It looks too athletic, too kind of sleek in his robot form. X-Transbots does look like it's going to be possibly the better of the three, but we don't know when or where that's ever going to materialize. If you're impatient like me and you want something now, then yes, this isn't bad. Scale-wise, it's blatantly far too small to pull off a correct hovercraft mode. It should be vastly bigger than this. But at the same time, I don't really intend to have him displayed up in his hovercraft mode for long. He will be that chunky little rounded bot that we all grew to love. Now we do get the option to flip this section at the front up and flip out some guns, which is nice, so we can fire at people like so. But unless you've got ridiculously long nails, it's nigh on impossible to get in this section. There's no kind of tab or anything. You have to pull the front apart to get in there, and that kind of defeats the object, in my opinion. Just a little tab on there would have made that so much easier. Whilst I've got this front section open, let's get him transformed. You want to just grab these and slide this section out, come around to this back section, and this section here is going to lift up. Pull this section down, and as we pull it down, we're going to pull this section all the way down so that this black tab section slides into that gap there, and then you want to bring the legs forward so this section is facing the front. Bring the feet forward, tuck those gun sections under. They're going to go all the way to the underside like so, and then we're going to bring this torso section back over, and as we do so, this tab section here is just going to tab into this crotch piece. So bring that over and just tab that in. Come to this propeller section and just pull that backwards. Pull back this plate section which reveals the head. To get the head, it's a bit of a job to get it from this side, so the easiest way of getting around this is just to flip this section down, give it a poke and bring it up, and then rotate it around like so, and then close this section back off. Separate the arms, split open those legs, and here he is transformed up into his robot mode. Now, I'm not a designer, I'm never likely to be, I don't have that sort of skill, but for the life of me, why have they depicted him in every single image having a yellow chest and a yellow faceplate? And then when we get him, he has a white chest and a white faceplate. I honestly have no idea. That's a silly move on their part, in my opinion. I know they're releasing a yellow faceplate, but you have to buy their RC to get the faceplate. And I don't really like RC. I don't like what they've done with Cup either. I know that's just been released, and to be honest with you, I kind of wanted kind of IDW-ish Cup, but it's neither here nor there. It's not really Studio Ox either. It honestly looks like a test shot, in my opinion, but that's just me. This is very simple. Very, very simple to transform. Not that that's always a bad thing. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a lot of G1 in a masterpiece toy. I mean, these guns are a bugger to get off. They come off individually, but you need to wiggle them out. Yeah, sometimes it's nice just to actually get a toy that you can mess around with. A bit of a chunky monkey, which is designed to be a toy, but at the same time isn't going to look out of place when displayed with the adult collection. And yeah, this guy does tick the kind of nostalgic box for me. You kind of expected to talk like that. That was terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. Our little merman friend there, but yeah, it's definitely Seaspray. You can see that it's Seaspray, but at the same time, it's just not quite there. It's the same what they did with Cosmos. They were that close, and then boom, colour is an issue. Speaking of Cosmos, here he is, the little tubby man. They do look good together, and that's a fairly accurate scale. I mean, when did Cosmos come into it? Season 3, didn't he? So we didn't really ever see him with Seaspray, I don't think. So it's neither here nor there, unless you go by that Sunbow chart, which seems to be the bane of every masterpiece and third-party existence. Everybody goes by that scale, and they all kind of have to stick rigidly to that, otherwise they get criticised no end. Now, I'm not going to get all of the Season 1 and Season 2 cast in to show you. I've still got to dig a load of those out, like Ironhide, Ratchet, Trailbreaker, Hound, etc. But you get the idea. He doesn't look completely out of place at all. He's probably a little bit too big compared to Beachcomber, but other than that, I mean, he fits in quite nicely. Although, that being said, he maybe looks a little bit too toy-like in the way that he shines as much as he does. But that's literally me being picky. Articulation-wise, the head can look up and down-ish. We can go left and right, and we can pull off some quizzical tilting, just a ball mount under there. The shoulders, friction joint upwards, friction joint all the way around. We get friction joint on a double jointed elbow. We get static hands and a rotation at the wrist. Waist-wise, there's a little waist rotation underneath these hip skirt sections. Is somewhat hindered by the actual hip skirt. To lift these front hip skirt sections up, we actually have to untab the crotch. They don't really hinder it going forwards. The side skirts do come up independently, which is nice, as does the rear skirt as well, so we can get a nice bit of range on those. But again, this is all friction joints, not particularly tight ones at that. We do get a bend at the knee. There's a rotation up in that thigh as well. Come down to the feet. They can actually slide forwards and backwards on this rocker. We get some tilting forwards and backwards. And we also get a friction joint giving us a nice deep ankle tilt. But considering he is literally made up of friction joints, they hold remarkably well, and his centre of balance is absolutely spot on. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I like him, but at the same time I feel a little bit underwhelmed. Now, I like the nods to the G1 toy and his G1 appearance in the animation, and I like how they've kept it fairly simple, but at the same time I think maybe they've simplified it too much. It feels more like a modern day GoBot or something that Hasbro would release in their deluxe line, as opposed to a masterpiece. You can't just add some die cast and say, yes, we have ticked all of the boxes. The hovercraft mode was nice. It was very nostalgic, as too is the robot mode, but there's just something missing. I think maybe if this section had been yellow and the mask had been yellow off the bat, without having to get the additional pieces, then I would have been more than content, because he does look the part when you have him up there alongside the rest of the cast. He's got that nice big tubby belly that he had in the animation, and I'll even let it pass the lack of articulation in the hands and the lack of ratchet joints. But it's showing us pictures of this guy with a yellow mask, giving us a box with him with a yellow and a yellow, giving the instructions with him yellow, and then giving us a final product which doesn't match up to that. That's just kind of unforgivable. If you're looking for a Seaspray in your collection and can get past this, then yes, he is definitely a good stand-in. Will Takara release the mini-bots? Probably. Will it be this side of 2025? Probably not. In my opinion, if you can get this guy for a good price, like TF Direct have him up for, then get it. If not, maybe wait for the X-Transbots version and see what they give. Maybe it's better, maybe it isn't. Either way, you're going to end up with a Seaspray in your collection, which certainly isn't going to look out of place. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy lives to watch my content. If you found this video useful, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share it, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, from myself and Wavebreak, goodbye.